Can I just say real quick before we get started, you have the smoothest voice. I'm dead serious. It's like comforting to hear you talk.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? It's comforting to hear you sing.
I didn't know you'd have brown eyes like the bread of Jesus, spending Friday nights at home. Didn't know you'd be the strong kind, deeper than a coal mine, loving with a heart of gold. And you're everything that I'm not, everything
Max, welcome to Q.
Thank you so much for having me.
A lot of people have been hearing you sing lately.
It's been a rocket.
You did Oceaga just recently in Montreal, middle of this massive tour, Boots and Hearts in Burl Creek, Ontario, that festival. How did it all go? How's it going?
Amazing. Every time I have any questions surrounding Canadian crowds, my favorite thing to say is there is a consistency of energy that is difficult to find anywhere else. And I think there's a lot of factors that play into that. It could be that algorithmically and on radio and through the powers that be, my music has made its way to Canada and resonated really well. But every show that I've ever played in Canada has been wonderful energy. And in most other places in the world, I'll have, one of the best shows of my life, followed by one that I feel like could have gone better. And maybe, I felt like I didn't do the best I could, or maybe the crowd was not, maybe I felt like I was insecure, that the crowd maybe wasn't as into it. Whereas Canada is just, I feel so loved every show that I play.
I have a theory as to why.
Hit me.
Okay. Well, first of all, you do have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
But Canadians love a good story. They love some storytelling. They love a great song, a well-written song that's going to take us through a little journey. And I think that that's what you do so well.
Thank you.
So we're going to play some music and stuff, but I really want to begin at the beginning. So not too long ago, you were teaching yourself guitar.
Yes.
And now you're on some of the biggest stages in the world. A lot of work and passion brought you to this point. So I read that you grew up in Bend, Oregon, and your dad would play guitar and sing for you. So let's start there. What do you remember thinking, feeling? Like, what was going on with you and your pops?
Yeah. So there's so many things that I want to say, and we have some time. So I will say them. With my hometown, I refer to both West Lynn, Oregon, which is that 20 minutes roughly south of Portland.
Okay.
That's where I spent a lot of my early life.
Okay.
And then Bend, I kind of split. So I moved to Bend in middle school for a little bit, came back, moved after high school for a little bit. And so yes, Bend and West Lynn are, I just know if I say Bend, all of my friends from West Lynn are going to be like, Max, you're not from Bend, dude. Stop saying that. And then when it comes to my dad, I mean, anytime somebody asks me to try to trace back my memory all the way to the beginning of my love for music, it comes from my dad. And I have 3 brothers, and my youngest sibling is my sister. And before she was born, it was 2 brothers on either side of this hallway, and we were both sharing rooms on either side. And my dad would sit with his legs out. I have a visual picture of it, even though I can't fully even remember much else from that age. But I have this visual picture of my dad sitting with his legs out in the hallway, crossed, with a guitar, and just playing us Jack Johnson and Amos Lee and Zach Brown Band songs and Matt Carney, and he would sing us to sleep. And I have one vivid memory that has stuck in my mind for some reason for this long, that one night, it was probably 8:30, 9-ish p.m., way past my bedtime at that age, and I crawled out of my bed. I was supposed to be asleep, and I went out and I laid on my dad's lap, and he was singing, and I feel like that was the earliest memory of music and what it meant for me from a very young age. And then moving forward after, my dad showed me so much music, and finding music of my own that made me feel less alone and helped me so much in my life, I feel like my entire career could be traced back to stem from those moments with my father.
Wow.
And one of my favorite things to see now in crowds is families. I see it's such a privilege that my music relates to all ages. My crowds are such an eclectic group of folks, and it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And sometimes I will see grandparents with their children and their children's children, and that just makes my heart explode, because that is what started it for me.
That's
like my
awesome.
dad showing me music and listening and playing, and so it's very full circle.
Did you sing early on, or were you just a listener? Like, did you and your siblings?
Oh, I sang.
Oh, did
Yeah.
your siblings sing as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So none of them do anything in music professionally. I think
Does that mean that you're the best singer of the bunch? Or no?
I don't even know. I don't even know if I would even say that. My little sister specifically, beautiful voice.
Okay.
My brothers, incredible voices, truly. They would never admit that to you. They are very humble and don't really believe probably that they sound as good as they do.
Right.
Because, you always kind of learn to love your voice over time. And if you don't, I hated my voice for so long. Even after I started music, I still didn't like listening to my own voice because I was just so insecure about it. And then over time, it took a lot of music and fans and reinforcement to finally be like, you know what? I love my voice. I like that my voice sounds a little bit distinct, But yes, we grew up singing all the time. And my mom, I always quote her because people ask me how I learned to whistle. And my mom always told me when I was really little, I used to sing myself to sleep sometimes when I was really little. And I whistled all the time just because I enjoyed it. And my mom told me that when you sing and you whistle, it means you have a happy heart in that moment. And so I took that from a very young age, and I was like, whether I have a happy heart or not, I'm not 100% sure. But if singing makes my mom feel like I have a happy heart, then I'm going to sing all the time. And so I would just sing, and my family would sing. And I always joke that when I was little, I'd walk home from school, and one of my siblings would be home, and they'd be, playing Xbox upstairs, and I would just sing one line from a song, and I would hear it finished out on the other side of the house. So it was very normalized. It was never a professional thing. It was very normalized as just a beautiful way to express yourself, and we listened to great music all growing up, and that's where it all started. People are often taken aback when I'm like, well, I wrote my first song when I was 21, and I'm 25 now, and they sometimes will be like, well, how did you learn to sing that fast? And I was like, well, I've been singing my whole life.
Right.
Like I really have, just because it was so accepted. And now I do it professionally, So I definitely needed some lessons to start singing properly.
Yeah.
But my whole family, we have a very musical gene of some sort. Yeah.
I understand, though, that you did not directly go down that musical path. That you went to school for business.
Worked at Starbucks for 2.5 years.
Worked at Starbucks, okay. But what made you feel like you had to, like as you said, you were singing throughout your childhood, but you decided to just veer off that path and go and do other things.
Yeah.
You never thought of it as something that might be?
I never thought of it as possible.
Huh,
I never
why
thought
is
of it as
that?
possible because I hated my voice.
Because you hated your voice.
Yeah, I would listen. When I started to find kind of middle school was when I started to kind of branch off into my own music, and I fell in love with artists like Shawn Mendes, right? I loved Shawn Mendes when I was in middle school, and he has a very delicate, beautiful vocal. I don't. I mean, I won't say I don't have a beautiful vocal because that's completely subjective, but I have a very wide and airy vocal that doesn't necessarily dance as well as the pop singers that are extremely talented. Just stick with me here.
I'm with you. I'm hanging on. Yeah.
I loved this song called Life of the Party by Shawn Mendes. It was one of the first songs I ever heard from him.
We don't have to be ordinary. Make your best mistakes. 'Cause we don't have the time to be sorry. So baby, be the life of the party.
I got a little microphone set for Christmas, and I set it up, and I put headphones on, And I was like, okay, I've seen all of these artists put their hands to their ear when they sing. That must do something, right? And so I'm like taking it super seriously. I put my hand to my ear. I'm singing. And I listened back and I hated it so much because I was expecting to sound anywhere close to what he sounds like.
Well,
and
that's a tough song.
For sure.
That is like,
for sure.
Come on.
And and I didn't know, I was 12, but that was the sequence of events that kept on happening. And I think that's what kind of made me veer away, was with every time I tried and reaffirmed to myself that I was insecure about my voice and I told myself I would never make it, every time that happened, there would be a longer and longer hiatus from trying.
Right.
And eventually I stopped trying. And that was where I kind of pursued different things. I think anytime you say you want to be a singer, people that love you and care about you, the good advice is probably, well, have a backup plan, just in case, because it's a very risky profession to try to go into. And if you go all in without any backup plan, it can end up being really difficult to live life, And so my plan, I didn't have a backup plan because I wasn't pursuing music, but I just wanted to get a job. I graduated during 2020, so COVID cut my year in half.
Sure.
Played a lot of video games, realized I wanted to do something with my life, and I love people. I love communicating with my fellow human, and so I wanted to find a customer service position. And so I applied at Starbucks, love it there, meet a ton of really great friends, and had an incredible time. And there was one moment that kind of changed the trajectory of it all, and I was borrowing, is what they call it. I was borrowing at a store outside of a Market of Choice. It's a grocery store in Westland, Oregon. And borrowing just means that you're working there for the day.
Okay.
And I was borrowing over there for the day. It's not my home store. And my mom does her shopping at that grocery store. And this was during a very difficult time for my family because my brother was about 3 years into battling lymphoma. And so he was going through a very difficult cancer battle. And it was taking a toll on my whole family. And I was 21. I had just turned 21 at that point. And I had an important conversation with my brother that prefaced this experience with my mom. And my brother, my oldest brother, so Brock is my second oldest brother, and he is the one that battled cancer. And my oldest brother, JJ, was kind of doing his own thing, and he was, he's 5-ish years older than me, a little over 5 years. And he just had a really beautiful heart-to-heart with me. And he was like, hey, I know you feel like there is guilt, which I've never told him this. So he just analyzed. And he said, I know you feel like there is guilt that will come with you trying to become independent right now. But you are 21. And that is something that you have the right to do, and it's probably healthy if you try to change the scene a little bit. Like, it's really hard at home right now. So I was at my Starbucks next to that Market of Choice, or the one that I was borrowing at, and my mom was grocery shopping, and so I took a lunch break, and so she came and sat with me, and she sat down, and mother's intuition got the best of her. And she asked me if I was okay. And I felt like I was okay. I wasn't. I was really struggling. And there's a silence. And I go, yeah, I'm okay. And there's a silence. And she goes, Max, what's wrong? And I just started bawling my eyes out, because there was so much pent up that I didn't really understand. And so I ended up just telling her right there, like, I'm not okay. Like, I need to find something else. I need to do something. And so my mom was like, well, let's change the scenery. Let's think of something that you can do. And I was like, well, I think I want to move in with my aunt and uncle, Seth and Vanessa, in San Clemente, California. And she goes, do that. And so 2 months later, I moved to California, and I had no intention of doing music. I just wanted to escape. And my dad opened the door as I had my whole car packed. I had my Subaru. I don't know why I'm getting emotional talking about this. I never get emotional talking about this stuff. But my dad opened up the door after I'd already closed it, and I was moving. and I was about to take a 17-hour drive, and my dad took out his old guitar that he used to play for us on.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me, and he just said, people love somebody who can strum a guitar, you know, and I had no desire of chasing this. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on right now.
It's okay.
I had it's kind of like, it's all hitting me right now. I don't know. I think it's your comforting voice. But he gave me the guitar, and I said, you know, thanks, Dad. Thank you. I don't know if I'm even going to do anything with it, but I really appreciate the gift. And so I shove it in the car. It barely fits, and I drive down, and I start working at Starbucks, and I still just feel like I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
I felt like there was more that I wanted to go find and experience and explore. And so I had a friend over from Starbucks. His name is Jordan. And we were just talking, and he saw the guitar in the corner of the room, and he was like, hey, you should bring that out and play me something. You play guitar? And I was like, well, no, not really. I hadn't even started to really teach myself. But when I was in high school, I figured out certain strings make certain noises, you know, the very basic side of it. And I just kind of wrote more poetry than a song. And I just wrote it over, you know, it had melody, but it was the first thing I'd ever really like written out.
Yeah.
And so I played it for him, and I sang it for him, and he was like, man, you have a chance at this. Like, he's like, I think you could do something with that. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you have to learn how to play guitar.
Yeah,
well,
that's
that
a good
was
place.
one thing.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. And he was like, well, just go down, exactly what you just did for me right now. Just go down and just sing on the pier. Like, just sit on a bench and sing for people. And the famous words that I love quoting all the time is, he said, worst case, nobody cares. Best case, nobody cares. Go do it for yourself. Like, go down there and prove to yourself that you can take that first step. And so I went down the next night, and I played for about an hour and a half, and I remember posting on my Instagram and just saying, I took the first step towards my dream. And I didn't think anything of it. I had not made a decision that I was going to pursue anything yet. I was just like, hey, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. So I'm going to take that first step right now. And I think every single day since has been that exact same mindset. Just one step at a time. Yeah. What can I do today to be the best person I can be and accomplish as much as I can? And that is how I've lived my life. And so it kind of just happened. You know, a lot of people talk about, you know, sometimes you don't even expect your life to go a certain way, and it just happens. That is what I think they refer to when they say that. It's just, you don't really know what you're chasing fully. Yeah. You just know you want to keep going. And that's what I did.
Max, can you like just briefly take me onto that pier, the first that first time that you did your thing out there, how people were reacting to you? Did you immediately know that maybe you had a bit of a gift
Yeah, I think every single interaction I had meant so much at that time. And especially now looking back, it's like I get beautiful messages all the time now, and they still mean a ton to me. But back when I was first starting, every word of kindness was a rocket-propelled experience for me to push forward into the next thing. And I remember 3 experiences of that very first night. So I made $90 in about an hour and a half, which was great.
That's great.
Much better than what I was making.
Sure.
So I awarded myself with some clam chowder from the pier restaurant. And I got a free taco. Nice. Luckily, it was safe to eat. And I got a girl's number wrapped in it, and I was single at the time.
What more?
Yeah, I got exactly the 3 things. And so I knew there was something there. And then also this woman came up to me on that first night, and she waited till the end of a song, and she just walked up. She walked past and then came back, and she walked up and she just said, hey, I don't know if you know this, but your voice blessed my night. And I'm so grateful that you're here. And I was like, holy smokes, thank you so much. Like, just to have people enjoy my voice. That was one of the first times I'd ever heard that before. Outside of my own family, of course, they were very supportive.
It really like solidifies that idea that, like once you get on that right path, that things just start being thrown your way to show you that, you know what, Max? This is all right.
That's how it's felt. And it feels like, the other experience of that night was this mother and her son. His name was Diego, and I think he must have been 10 or 11 years old, a very young kid. And his mom and he sat on the bench just right across from me, and they listened to me for about 20 or 30 minutes, just sing cover songs. And I ended up, Diego came over, and I was showing him some chords on guitar, and his mom was loving it, and it was just a wonderful experience. I refer to him as my first fan ever.
Yeah.
And I posted a photo on that same post of the first step towards my dream. The first photo was just me on the pier singing. And the next two were me with Diego. And that post is the post. It reached, I think it got like 400 likes and no more than a couple thousand views, which is not huge in the grand scheme of things at all.
Still.
But it was great at the time.
Yeah.
And that post is how my wife found me and reached out.
Stop it.
First post I ever made for music. And my wife reached out and just said, I love your voice. And I said, thank you. And we just maintained a friendship. So all that to say, like you're saying, when you start chasing something and you start trying to live out your life as authentically as you can, things come. Things happen. And my grandpa told me when I was little, one of my favorite quotes that I quote all the time, because I'm noticing it in my life now, I try to stay connected with God as best I can. And where I see God in my life is the people that were placed at the right place and the right time that could not have been any more perfect for my trajectory. And my grandpa would tell me, providence is the hand of God inside the glove of circumstances. So it's being orchestrated by hands you can't see, but it's in the circumstances. So you have to be there. You have to try. You have to put yourself there. And you will be rewarded.
Listen, this is, all right. So now let's just fast forward. You've got your third album coming out. It's coming out in September. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
I want to listen to some music from that.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
You're hard on yourself, only see imperfections. Darling, even mirrors can lie. So look in my eyes, let me change your perspective, show you every reason why. I fell in love with the firstborn daughter, fresh taste of watermelon in the summer.
I understand that song was inspired by the qualities you love about your wife.
Yes, it was.
Tell me
As
about
are
tell
every
me
one of my
about
love
it.
songs these days.
Is it all about your wife?
It is.
As it should be.
Yeah, I'm in love. I want to write love songs. I am a firm believer of albums representing phases of life.
Yeah.
And that song specifically was a love song about my wife, but it was it was written in a way that sheds light on some of the qualities that can come from being a firstborn daughter.
Yeah.
And some of those qualities are insecurities for her. And that song was kind of a way to say, hey, these shouldn't be insecurities, these should be your strengths. Like, these are some of the things I love most about you that you are insecure about. And so I wrote that song, and it kind of has this cheeky comedy to it, because it says, some might say I'm a lamb to the slaughter, but I fell hard for firstborn daughter. Because everybody talks about firstborn.
They have
to go through life as the child first.
That's
right.
right.
And I knew a lot of my experience with firstborn children came from my oldest brother. And I see a lot of similarities in personality that definitely stems from being a firstborn child. And so, when I wrote that song, I just thought about all of the things that could stem from that and showing love to those things, because I think that they are underrated and they're my favorite things. And so I'm so grateful for that song right now, because similarly to Better Me For You, which Better Me For You was written about who I was, who I didn't want to be, and how I feel like she saved me. And the entire chorus is just about her. In fact, I almost didn't single that song because I thought it was so specific to our relationship that I didn't think it would resonate. And luckily, my uncle, who manages me, didn't let that happen. And he was like, no, this is a great song. We're going to single this. Yeah. Changed my entire life. But Firstborn Daughter is starting to do something similar. And I'm starting to see a bunch of people, primarily firstborn daughters, on social media that are starting to adopt it as their own and be like, this is what I needed to hear. And it's always so interesting because I think Rick Rubin said this first, but the best thing you can do for your fans is to write music for yourself.
That's right.
And it's hard to keep that at the forefront of your mind as your environment changes nonstop.
That's right.
Every day. And you start to think about the crowds you're playing for, and you start to think about what people are thinking about what you're writing, and will this resonate? Is it global enough? Is it too specific? The best thing you can do is throw that out the window, because Firstborn Daughter was so specifically about the qualities of SK that I love that come from being a firstborn daughter. And it's resonating. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that. The whole Leave on a Light album is just a big thank you to not just my wife, but my family, my road crew.
I want to listen to one more song before you get out of here, and it's this one.
Someday I wanna be a household name, as long as it's the one you take. Rowdy crowd when we say I do. I wanna be famous. I hope everybody hears this song, but only if you sing along with the dog in the living room. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous to you.
Famous to You is the name of the tune from Max McNown. It's off his latest album. It's called Leave on a Light. Max, I read that this song is really about success and ambition and redefining those things. And it got me thinking about how a lot of people who have talent and drive, they don't see the type of success that you are seeing right now. What is it about your music that allows you to, even if they're not thinking about the exact thing that you're singing about, but you're connecting with people? Why do you think that is? What do you think that connection point is? And there are a lot of people that just love some Max.
Some a little too much.
A little, maybe.
No such thing. No such thing. The best way I could answer that is by saying that I write everything from my heart. I write, and I've been given the privilege to do that. So not everybody, you know, especially in industry cities, you see this a lot where people move with a dream and they move to chase that dream, and they start to have a lot of people that they come into contact with that tell them that this is the way that you chase that dream, and you should brand this way and you should act this way. And I was so fortunate because I'm on an independent label out of Seattle. My uncle and I are partners in it, and we are just kind of doing our own thing, and we've been in our own lane for this entire career, and that's given me the freedom to not think about the pressures that are pushing me to write a certain way or to say something. You know, I think I've talked about this quite a bit actually, but when A Lot More Free came out and A Lot More Free hit, and it made the entire beginnings of my career, you know, it put me on the map, changed my entire life. I think a lot of other artists would probably get into a situation. In fact, I know a few that I won't name, but they get into a situation where they have this song that goes off, and so they are now under immense pressure to create that again.
That's right.
And that's where you run into a lot of, you know, I would challenge anybody to go through my entire discography and find, you know, 2 songs that sound like they're ripping A Lot More Free. Like I had the freedom and the lack of pressure to continue to just write from my heart. And that's where Better Me For You came from. And that's where Firstborn Daughter comes from. And that's where all of my music comes from. And I am not holier than thou in any way. I just was given such an opportunity with the situation that I found myself in music that I could maintain who I was. And in order to keep that going, you need to surround yourself with people who care about who you are, not about the brand and not about the money and not about the music. people that care about your heart. And I feel as though I have surrounded myself with wonderful human beings that care for me. And that has given me the freedom to write from my heart with no fear.
And people love it.
Yeah, and people want to hear who you are.
That's
and
right.
I think with the advancements of technology today, and not just social media, but AI, I think that humans are craving human reality and human authenticity. And I think that is why, even if they don't necessarily relate to every word of a song, they hear the human in it. They hear that I'm just writing music that I feel drawn to write, or at least that's what I hope.
Yeah.
There's no way to know exactly, but that's what I would assume. I would assume it's because I don't have anybody in my ear telling me that I need to write this way or that.
You know what? It has been very cool talking to you.
I want to go another 2 hours.
Well, we could. I have a feeling that we'll probably, that you'll be back again because
we'll
you're
reconnect.
at the beginning of a very long career.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. This was amazing. Thank you.